ecstasy.
All right, we're live. So happy Sunday. Welcome to another episode of the Mindminx Show. I'm your favorite Mindminx, and we are live on location here at Lava Studios. And I'm with Lil Skies Radio, as we always are. And I just want to give a shout out because I have some friends with me today. I just want to give a shout out to Jason Enrique, co-host. I'm sorry, I got to get used to that now. Co-host of First Place Second. I already messed it up. First Class Second Place podcast. You can clap. It's okay. You can clap. Dear Lord. Stupid. They're already laughing at me. But I got this. You know, I do this on a regular basis. But I'm here with Citoonthebeat.
Yes.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good.
I'm very good. I'm a little tired.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming in.
Absolutely.
And bringing us into your studio, which is really fucking cool, man.
I appreciate it. It's very homey. I wanted it to look like a living room.
It definitely does.
That was the vibe, like a living room.
And all the artwork in here, and that's why we kept the artwork behind us, is yours.
It is a hobby of mine. Something I like to do on the side besides music.
Nice. Yeah. Well, all right, we're gonna go right in. Oh no, I can't. I have to do homework first. All right, I want to give a shout out to the official sponsor of the Mindminx Show, Absalom, located at 223 DeGraw Avenue in Teaneck, New Jersey, and also to Castro Beats for the beat that is in the background that we can't hear because we don't have headphones anymore.
Absolutely.
But everyone at home can hear it, so thank you so much for that. All right, let's get into this. So, I did my homework today. Oh, he's dancing to it. They get to hear it, mother fletchers. All right, he keeps looking at my notes. Stop looking at my notes.
All right, I'm ready.
Okay, you're ready. Okay, so so I wanted to say something. I listened to a podcast this morning.
Okay.
And it was from 2017 that you had been on with Famine and Mellow,
yeah.
Yes. And it was interesting because my very first note after I wrote your name was that, you know, you're a rapper and a producer. Mm-hmm. And I literally crossed it. That I'll let you look at because I literally crossed it out because you said on there, you don't want to be labeled a rapper. You said you're an artist. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was really interesting. So why don't we talk really quickly before we go about your history?
Okay. So as you can see, we were talking about the painting.
Right.
So the reason I like to consider myself an artist is because, like, you know, I've directed videos, I've done like creative direction for like fashion. It's actually my hat. I do, you know, I have my own brand. I produce, I write songs. So I feel like calling me a rapper is kind of like putting me in a box, you know? I'm just a creative, you know, like I want my mind to roam free. So like, I like people to just consider me just an artist.
Okay.
You know, whatever it is. I'd rather be an artist than label me music producer or artist, songwriter. Like, no, I'm just an artist.
Okay.
You know?
All right. We're going to get back to that because I want to talk about your history because that's an interesting conversation. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk about your history because you have a history, your family has a musical background.
Yes.
So your dad was the music director at a church.
At a church, yeah. So I grew up in a Christian household.
Okay.
So both my parents are, you know, I grew up in church, and that's actually where I learned how to make music. I started playing the drums when I was like 6.
Yep.
Started playing the piano when I was around like 11, 12 years
That's
old.
crazy.
And my mother was a singer, and my dad was a director, like the musical director of the church. So my dad plays, you know, bass guitar, piano, a little bit of drums. So I had musical background already, like growing up, you know. So that's where my love for music comes from.
Now, did they train you, or did you get classically trained in those instruments?
So, like, my dad would give me a little bit of training, but it was more on like, he would kind of be like, sit here and watch.
Okay.
So I kind of just learned from like watching him do things and then just like mimicking him and like copying what he was doing. But I played by ear.
Wow.
So, you know, I feel like I wasn't classically trained, but I pick up music really fast, you know? Like, I can see something and I can play it like immediately.
So it's a natural.
It's natural.
See,
Yeah.
to
It's
me,
like a
that
born
is
talent.
Yeah, that to me is so fascinating because, like, all right, so I had piano lessons, I've had violin lessons, and yeah, I think that's the extent of it. Oh, trumpet. I did trumpet for a little while.
I play trumpet.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I. To me, it's like you could teach me all fucking day, and yeah, no, it's not there.
No?
No, like
Okay.
you know, I can't read music to
Okay.
save my life.
I can read music.
Yeah, see, to me, like, so it's fascinating when someone who is a creative like yourself, that it comes so naturally. They're like, really, like your reaction, like, really, you can't, like, no, it's interesting to see.
You know what it is? I feel like because like I can do it, I kind of feel like it's normal, but then I realize not everybody can
No,
do that.
yeah.
I'm like, okay. You know,
I
for
could do
sure.
a C note apparently naturally when I'm angry, but that's about it.
How you know it's a C note?
Because that's what the trumpet person told me.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember
do a
that.
C note.
I could do a C note when I'm angry. So now I'm like hiding my notes because I don't want him to see. All right,
I won't look down, I promise.
All right, okay. So, all right, so let's go. Well, I can hear that, people. You could hear it, right? They kill me. Do you see what they do? I can hear. I have self-diagnosed ADHD.
Self-diagnosed? That's a good one. I never heard that before.
All right, so when your parents were you know, doing, I know that they, you know, they separated when you were still pretty young.
Yeah.
I do remember. But would you do any of the music in the church with your parents?
Yes, I played the drums in church.
Did you?
Yeah, like my whole life. From like 6 till I was 15, 16 years old, and then I left church.
Why did you leave?
I'm not really a religious person. You know, like I believe in God. I believe in a higher power. You know, I have my personal relationship, but I feel like you know, regular stuff, like, you know, when you're in church, it's kind of like being in a work environment or being at school, right? It's like, it's a lot of gossip, it's a lot of judgment, he say, she say, why do you dress like this? Or, you know, God doesn't like this, God, you know? And
Okay.
I feel like growing up, I had a lot of that, and I had kind of like, I was a kid, so I had no choice. I had to do what my parents said, so I had to go to church. But once I got a little older and I was making decisions for myself, I decided to be like, yeah, I don't really, you know, I didn't really want to deal with that.
Okay, so the music wasn't enough to...
Like, I still go to church once in a while, you know, and I still do want to go to church, but I feel like the music definitely, for 100%, I learned music at church.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, 100%. Like, I feel like a lot of my musical talent is definitely God-given, you know, and, but, you know, I had to like, you know, I just had to do my own thing.
Okay.
You know, I felt like I just needed that. I felt like I went to church because my parents forced me to be there.
Okay.
So I feel like if I go to church now, it's because I want to be there. So I had to kind of just like leave there and, you know, just figure out things for myself.
Okay. Now, at what point did it change? And I already know because I listened to the podcast. Did it change like from being a musically, a church music influence to a hip hop influence for you?
Well, all right. So outside of like, you know, growing up in church, my dad was a really big like R&B fan, so I grew up like in my house. Besides listening to gospel, I grew up on like Boyz II Men.
Okay.
Like, I love Boyz II Men, Sade, you
Okay.
know, like Michael Jackson. So I had a lot of that, and then I had a lot of like the Latin fusion, you know, Mark Anthony, La India, you know, a lot of that stuff. But I didn't get into hip hop till like I got around my cousins, I got outside, like I started really, I didn't, like hip hop wasn't in my household, you know, so I kind of had to like look for that on my own. I had to like go out and like just being around friends in school, like, you know, like just being outside really, just being in the street is where I you know, and I fell in love with the sound, and it's something that I, you know, took in. I was like, nah, this is what I love, like, this is what I want to do, you know, like I just attracted to it.
And when did you figure out that, you know, this is what you want to be doing? Like liking it, listening to music is one thing, but to start, you know.
I think I knew that my whole life though.
Yeah?
Yeah, I kind of knew that my whole life. Like, I feel like at a really young age when kids were like, oh, I want to be a firefighter, or I want to be like, you know, a conductor or whatever, like a policeman. I was like, nah, I want to do music.
Really?
You know, yeah. Like I remember I was either in 2nd or 3rd grade. I could never remember which grade I was in, but I remember doing a show and tell. And like, I brought in a microphone and everybody had to like, you know, describe the show and tell. And I remember going up and showing my microphone, and I said, when I grow up, I'm going to do music. Like, and I remember
That's adorable.
and I remember my teacher being like, oh yeah, like, and I was like, yeah, this is what I want to do. And you know, I just remember like my kids in my class being like, what? Like, you know, it's just like not something normal that a 7, 8-year-old kid says, you know? So it was like, yeah, I'm gonna do music. Like, I didn't know what I was gonna do in music, but I knew that that's what I wanted to do, like my whole life.
So did you start out, obviously producing isn't what you started with.
I started playing drums.
So it started with drums.
I feel like when I started playing drums is when I really fell in love with music. I fell in love with the instrument. And then from there, then I fell in love with like the piano. But I fell in love with the piano because I realized that that's the instrument that's used to like really create.
Okay.
So I feel like when I got to that space of like, I want to become a producer and I had to figure out how to do it, I realized that you needed a piano. So then I fell in love with that instrument, and it became like my first love now. I feel like I touch the piano more than I do the drums, you know? But it definitely started with the drums.
Oh. So did you sing at any point? When did it turn into like singing or rapping or?
So I think I did that first.
Okay.
Like I wanted to be an artist and I wanted to rap, but I needed to figure out how to do that. So I got into producing.
Oh, so really the producing really was before any of the vocals.
Yes.
Wow.
So I got into the producing because I felt like I needed to learn how to make the music so that then I can write to.
Okay.
But the whole goal was to, like, if you would have asked me this at 12 years old, the whole goal was for me to produce for myself as an artist. And then when I started realizing that I could do that for other people, then I fell in love with that even more than doing it for myself. Like, wow, I can actually like bring something to life for somebody. Like I can create a beat and have somebody like rap on it, and we make a song together, and it becomes like something. Like I was fascinated by that. I was like, yeah, nah, I like doing this, you know.
But how did it, okay, so when we think of like a drum or a piano, that's a physical instrument. But when you're talking about creating a beat, that's like a whole different beast, because that's like...
And that's kind of what blew my mind at a young age, right? So where it started was me and my younger cousin, we started making beats together. And it started from our older cousin. Our older cousin used to have DJ Funk Flex, had he put out a video game with PlayStation. It was called Music Generator by MTV. And it was literally a video game that you could make beats on.
Okay.
So my older cousin...
All right, so that's...
Yeah, so my older cousin would make beats on this video game. And one time, me and my younger cousin came around and we saw him doing it. And I was like, what is this, you know? Like, cause I loved music, but I didn't know there was a video game for it. And so he put us onto the video game. And then when I realized that, I was like, wait, you can create drums and trumpets and all these sounds on a software without having the actual instrument in your hand. I found that so fascinating. I was like, oh nah, like I want to do this, you know, like I love this. So I ended up getting the game, and I got really good at the game. And then I wanted to realize how to take it serious. I wanted to figure out like, okay, how can I don't want this to be a game anymore. So then I told my dad about the game, and he was like, no, yeah, this is a real thing that you can do. And I was like, yeah, I want to do it. So like for Christmas, like 2004, my dad bought me a program.
How old were you in 2004? Let's put a number on.
I was in 2004. I was.
You're gonna make me feel so old. I know it.
I think I was either 13 or 14 years old. Yeah, I was like 13, 14 years old.
In 2004? Yeah, I'm old enough to be your mom. Old enough to be.
Not me, I'm your brother.
You're so full of it.
You graduated high school in 04? Mm-hmm. Oh, so I graduated high school in 07.
I'll be your older brother.
Yeah, I'm class of 07. What year did you graduate high school?
1993.
Okay.
Shut up with the fucking look on your face.
You graduated high school in 93. Yeah, you could definitely be my mom.
2000s.
You'd be a very young mom at that time.
That's okay.
You would have been a really young mom.
That's okay.
My dad's class of 87. Me and my dad, fun fact, me and my father graduated from the same high school, 20 years apart. He's class of 87, I'm class of 07.
Aww.
Same high school, 20 years apart.
But don't look at me.
What?
I didn't graduate.
I know you didn't. He's so
You
full
didn't
of
have my thing.
I'm celebrating my 30th high school reunion this year. 30 years ago.
Next year's my 20th.
I'm the only guy who was suspended while being suspended.
How do you get suspended while you're already
How
suspended?
you gonna get fired on your day off?
Yeah, that's me.
That's
I was
crazy.
suspended. I went to school and got into a fight and got suspended again.
Wow. You were one of those.
His claim to fame. His claim to fame. Okay. All right. So when he got you this equipment, then this is when you started making.
That's when I started like really taking it serious. Like this was my freshman year of high school. So I started making beats. I started learning the program, and the program really wasn't that good. It was like a cheap program. I think it was called Cakewalk Home Studio 2004. That was the name.
Wow, he remembers that shit.
It was an orange box that had like a piano logo in the front. Yeah, I still remember that.
And what did you do with them? So you made these beats.
Yeah. Damn, that's a good question. Nobody's ever asked me that.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Good question. Okay, I remember. Yeah, so I started making those beats, and I didn't really know what to do with them. And actually, my dad was the one. My dad had told me, he's like, you should start like showing people your music so you could like put yourself out there. And I was like, okay. And he gave me the idea, like, you should burn CDs and just give them out. So I would burn CDs of just instrumentals of mine. And I started passing them out in my high school to just all the kids. Like, yo, these are my beats, these are my beats, these are my beats. And obviously, this is before all social media. So there was no social media at that time. And then through like doing that, I started meeting kids in high school that were rappers.
Okay.
And they were like, yo, we want to rap on your beats. So this is actually, so I started recording people out of my bedroom, which is actually where the Lava Studios name comes from.
Really?
So I used to have a little setup in my bedroom, which is actually on YouTube. There's a video of one of my friends recording me in the bedroom I'm talking about. And on top of my speakers, I had 2 lava lamps. So a friend of mine that used to always hang out with me, he's like, you should call your bedroom Lava Lamp Studios. Because we have like these 2 lava lamps, you know. I would turn off the lights and everything would be dark in my room. It's just the 2 lava lamps lighting up and like the screen from the computer, and we would just record in the dark. And so when I actually opened Lava, I thought Lava Lamps was a little tacky, so I just kept Lava and I took the lamps out. But that's where Lava Studio name comes from.
Very cool.
It comes from from a bedroom, you know. There's definitely a story behind that.
That's so cool.
But yeah, so I used to have all these rappers come to my bedroom and record with me in the room, which is where I got a lot of, my experience just recording people for free. And then my dad kind of got irritated. I was always having like dudes coming in and out of my house. He's like, why do you always have all these people, all these strangers coming in and out? I'm like, I'm recording people. He's like, if you're gonna record people, at least charge them. And so my dad's the one that like implanted that for me. Like, ooh, I could really turn this into like a business. So I started. I was like, I started charging my friends like $15 a song.
I was gonna say how much, like $10. $15 is such an odd number, though.
Yeah, I don't know where I got that number from. I just thought, yeah, $15 a song. That's how it started. And then like my rates just got up. Like as I got better at what I was doing, my rates went up to 20, 25. Then I started charging by the hour. And yeah.
That's pretty cool. And how old were you?
I started that at like 14 years old, 14. I was like 15 when I started charging.
So always an entrepreneur then.
Oh, that's where it came from, yeah. When I realized I could make money off of music, I was like, that's when for sure I was like, yeah, this is what I'm doing, 100%.
All right, so that's 2004.
Yes, what I said was between 2004 and like 2007.
Right, because in 2007 you opened
my first studio.
Like physical.
Yeah, physical.
So you took it out of the bedroom.
Yeah. So my senior year of high school, all my friends were taking their SATs. They wanted to go to college, and I was like, nah. I was like, I'm not doing any of that. So I saved up a lot of money through my entire senior year, and when my teacher would tell me like, what college you going to? I'm like, I'm not going to college. I'm gonna open up a studio. And they were all looking at me like I was crazy. They were like, but you can still do that and like go to college. I'm like, I don't need college for what I'm gonna do. Like I have a God-given talent. I'm good at what I do. I don't really need college. I'm gonna figure it out. Granted, even though I did that, I still ended up going to college for my mom because
I was gonna
just
say
to make her happy.
I was like, wow, you had good parents.
Yeah, she I did it for her. I didn't really want to go to college. She kind of pressed me to go. Like, oh, like I came to this country and like,
oh, she gave you that
guilt trip. I busted my ass to give you a better future. You don't want to go to school, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to school. But yeah, that was actually my first like real big like proud moment because I feel like I accomplished something on my own, like without my parents. Like I saved up that whole year. I set a goal that by the time I graduated, I would have enough money to like open a space, and like I made it happen.
At 17, 18 years old.
At like
Good for you,
17.
Man.
Yeah, I opened my first studio at 17. I remember I saved up $5,000.
Wow.
At 17, yeah. And I rented.
How many 17? I didn't save up any. God bless you, man.
I really wanted this, I wanted it bad. It's like you want something, you gotta make it happen, All that money my parents would give me to like for lunch, like lunch money for school. I literally had a shoebox. I had a Nike shoebox. I would just fill it up with this mad money, anything. My mom gave me $10. I would starve myself.
Wow.
And like put it in the box, like nah.
That explains all those skinny pictures I found of you.
Yeah, I was really, really skinny. Yeah, I was definitely really skinny.
So the next part, literally in your bio, went, your first major placement. You worked on Troy Ave single Chuck Norris. Mm-hmm. But what steps went from like, 2007 to 2016? Like that's a big. Yeah,
something wasn't written in there that definitely played a part in like opening doors for me. So when I graduated high school, and I opened that studio, I kept working with artists that were local, and also MySpace was like a big thing at the time.
I remember
right?
MySpace.
Yeah, so I started reaching out to people on MySpace right after high school. After high school, like 07, from like 07 to like 2009, I kind of just focused on like building my business, which was the studio. I wanted everybody to know I had a studio, to come record with me. So I did that for like 2 years. And then after that, I started like reaching out to people to figure out if I could, like how I could get my beats to like famous artists. So I started finding people on MySpace. I found this guy named, oh my God, I forgot his name. Brian.
Not McKnight.
No, I wish. Love Brian McKnight. Can't remember from the top of my head, but at the time, no, he was managing Lil Wayne. If you try to look up like Lil Wayne managers, his name's something Brian. He's also one of the people that found Drake.
Oh, okay.
damn, what was this guy's name? How do I forget? Something Bryant. Cortez Bryant. So I reached out to Cortez Bryant. I found his MySpace and I hit him up and I said, listen, I'm a young kid. I was like, I'm a producer. I make beats. I would love to get stuff to Wayne. I thought I was never gonna get a response. I took my shot, and he hit me back. He was like, "Yeah, send me some beats." And I sent him an email of beats. And actually, that year, I got like my first placement with Lil Wayne.
Wow.
The first famous rapper to ever get on one of my beats was Lil Wayne.
Wow.
Yeah, in 2009, the record.
And how old were you?
I was at 19.
Wow.
I was 19 years old. Yeah. Like, I always worked with local rappers, but the first, like, big rapper I ever heard on, like, one of my beats was Lil Wayne. And the record was called Bitch I Do Me. It's still on YouTube. But that opened a lot of doors for me, you know? And from there, I just started meeting people that put me in the right rooms and positioned me to, you know, to just be where I'm at now, you know? Like, for real, for real.
Which is next to me, by the way. I'm just saying. Oh, hopefully that it'll
I think
reconnect.
it's shut off.
Yeah.
No, it's off.
Let's try again then.
There you go.
All right. Hopefully. Okay, so I want to talk about it because you didn't want to talk about it on your other podcast. And I didn't watch the show at all. But you were on a reality TV show.
I knew this question was coming.
We had to.
Okay.
No, it's not working.
Hold on. Maybe
Let's X out and go back.
And go back.
Yeah. So, but we had to bring this up. I don't have good connection in here. Oh, you know what? Maybe if we say what? Scroll it, you know.
Yeah, let me. You want me to try to connect you to the Wi-Fi?
Okay.
I have Wi-Fi. Hold on.
There. We are live, people, so we are gonna try to connect. So, you know, I'm not big in the. Somehow, I find myself in the hip hop world, but I am not proficient. Thank you. I want to say I'm not a fan. I am a fan. There we go. Thank you.
Let's try that.
Okay.
There you
All
go.
right. So thank you very much for that. Okay, so I'm not proficient in the hip hop world, so I never watched this show.
You've never watched?
Never.
Ever?
Ever.
Okay.
If anything, I've seen like.
You know, it's one of the longest running reality shows.
Yeah.
Ever.
No, I've never.
They're on their like 12th season.
Really?
Yeah.
No, I've never. I've seen maybe memes.
Okay.
But you were on season 1
Yes.
of Love and Hip Hop.
Uh-huh.
How did that happen? Wait, and so one of the people that were on the show apparently lived in the attic above your studio.
That studio was in this building.
Here?
On the first floor.
Wow.
Yeah, so the artist was Samaya Reese.
Okay.
Also another artist that I met the same year that I reached out to Cortez Bryant and got that record with Lil Wayne. I also reached out to Samaya Reese.
Okay.
So at the time, Samaya Reese was like a really big personality on MySpace. She had like millions of followers. She was huge. And I reached out to her. She was like, you know, and she hit me back. She's from LA. And we connected. We started working on music, like, you know, just sending things back and forth. And then she flew over to New York and she started living here so we could work on music, you know?
Wow.
She called me one day on the phone and was like, look, I don't really have nothing going on in LA. Like, I'm trying to figure things out. I want my career to take off. You know, she's like, I really like working with you. And I told her, like, come out here, you know? She's like, yo, I don't really have, like, no money. I don't have anything going on. I said, it's cool, fuck it. Like, come out here, we'll figure this shit out together.
Wow.
You know? And she came out here and we worked on music. And at the time, I don't know if you remember, like, one of the first video streaming websites was called Ustream. You don't remember that? It was Ustream. It was called Ustream.tv, right? So Samaya was romantically involved with Joe Budden at one point.
Okay.
Right? So Samaya Reese. And then when they broke up, they had a huge fight on Ustream.tv that went like viral, like, you know, and they were just like, you know, she was like, you know, you ain't shit and da da da. And that caught the attention of Mona Scott, who's the creator of Love and Hip Hop.
Oh, okay.
So at the time, because Samaya was living out here with me, in her bios of all her information, she put my email as her manager.
Okay.
Like I was kind of like managing, even though I wasn't really her manager, I was a producer, but I was basically managing all her affairs. So Mona Scott hit my email, trying to get in contact with Samaya, you know? And she was like, you know, I have the show. The show had not even, at the time when we were shooting the pilot, the show was supposed to be for MTV. They didn't even, like, that's how early on we were part of the show. So, like, they didn't even have a network yet. They were just shooting the pilot to pitch it to a network. So, Samaya loved it. She wanted to be a part of it. They try to create, like, a love story between her and Joe Budden, but Joe Budden turned it down. He didn't want to be part of the show. So they just kept Samaya.
After that viral argument, they wanted.
Yeah, they wanted both of them to be on the show, you know, and bring that onto the show as a pilot. But, you know, Joe wasn't down. Yeah, he wasn't willing to do it. But Samaya got on the show, and then, you know, that's kind of how everything happened. And they were using my studio to film her, and and I came out on the show.
And you said that really did open up a lot of doors for you. Yeah,
working with Samaya, I met a lot of people. Like, working with her, we met, you know, together. You know, we met a lot of people in the industry. I met Lady Luck through her, who's a really good friend of mine now. Like, that's my sis. We met through Samaya. DJ Spin King, who's one of the hottest DJs in New York City right now. Well, I knew him prior, but we got close because he came to the studio to work on a record with Samaya with me. And Red Cafe. I mean, I built a lot of connections. Freck Billionaire during that time. So we met a lot of good people, you know.
Why did you dislike being a part of it?
I don't think that I disliked it. I think it was like, I look back and I'm like, damn, I didn't really realize how big that show was gonna be or what it was gonna become, and I feel like I wasn't prepared for it.
Okay.
So I don't really like how I look in the shots, you know? I don't like how I was dressed. I don't know. I felt very unprepared, you know?
I just got deja vu. But like, if you, hindsight, would you have changed anything so that you could have, because you were on what? I saw that you were on 3 episodes. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah. I was on like 2 or 3 episodes.
In the first season.
I think.
Would you have liked to have been able, now that you're saying that it's literally the longest running reality TV show?
Yeah.
Would that have been something that you would have liked to have had that same longevity with?
No, because I never really wanted to be looked at as somebody that's on reality TV.
Okay.
I felt like that would have, people wouldn't have took my music serious.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
So I feel like I was on there just enough. The only thing I wish I could change is I wish I would have capitalized off it more. You know, I wish I would have took advantage of the opportunity of being on TV and like turned it into something. I remember the first day that it aired, I was watching it on TV and I had my laptop open, and on Facebook, I had my Facebook page open. And,
oh no.
And literally as the show is running and I'm watching it on TV, my Facebook starts going crazy. Like, everybody that knew me was hitting me up like, bro, I'm watching you on fucking TV right now. I never told anybody I was gonna be on TV.
Oh. So
people were finding out and hitting me up, and then I had girls from like all over the country hitting me up like, you're so cute, like I want to meet you in person. Like girls from Texas, California. It was crazy. It was like people were literally finding me. Like they were finding me on Facebook.
How did that feel?
That was dope. Like that was mad. That was like my first time experiencing something like that. You know, I was like, oh shit. Like people were like, actually one of my teachers that I had told that I wanted to do music when I was graduating, and he was looking at me like, you gotta go to college. He actually sent me a DM on Facebook and was like, wow, like you're one of my few students that actually like did something that they said they were gonna do. You know, he was like, "I'm mad proud of you. Like, you know, you prove people wrong. You really like."
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. That's so sweet.
Yeah, no, I actually cried when I read it. Like,
do you see? I'm like tearing.
Literally, like I literally cried reading it because I was like, it meant a lot to me because it was like, wow, like it put a lot of things into perspective. Because sometimes when you're just like working or you're just like following your dream, you like lose sight of everything. Like it kind of like, you know, you just.
I need a tissue, people.
You dive in.
You motherfuckers. I'm not joking.
You got sentimental?
Yeah, they think that's really sweet.
That is. It was a beautiful moment.
Fucker.
And it wasn't like a little message. He sent me a paragraph.
He literally he throws it at me. Thank you. I think that's sweet.
Yeah, you know, and it was
Is this a Mindminx first?
I think so.
Wow, we're just making history.
I think so.
wow. First host, co-host, or what is it? What do you call it?
You're a guest.
First guest.
To make me cry.
To make you cry.
Oh my gosh. You know, well, and I'm gonna tell you why, because too many people. I'm really gonna fucking cry.
Damn, Cito, that's hard.
I know. That was good. That was good.
Oh my gosh. Well, not enough people support artists, I think.
I agree.
So
I'm pretty sure you know what that feels like.
Too much competition.
Yeah.
fucking A. Now you're gonna have to talk again. I am prepared, but I wasn't prepared for crying. So now you're gonna have to talk for a minute.
No, yeah.
Only on occasion do I have a soul.
I feel like you're getting emotional because I feel like it pulled at something that
Holy shit.
you know that's like you could relate to, you know, because I know that this is not easy to put together, so you know people don't really see that, and it's people don't always see your vision, you know, so when people actually do acknowledge your vision, it feels good.
Okay, we have to change the subject now. Holy shit.
I feel it though.
I'm a crier, dude. It doesn't turn off. All right, let's time how long it takes for it to stop now. Whew.
Nah, I feel you though. Those moments don't happen often. I mean, I'll be honest, right? Like one of the best decisions I've made in my life in a long time is dating Jessica, who's like
I love dating, Jessica.
Right? And I feel like now being in this like new relationship with her, she's put a lot of things into perspective for me that weren't put into perspective for me in other relationships or with other people, and it's just like being with somebody that actually like believes in what you're doing and like supporting what you're doing, because it usually comes from the people that are the closest to you that kind of like, you know, they know you and they're kind of like, oh yeah, like, you know, you do that, but like that's cool, you know. It's kind of like they don't really take it serious. They think it's like a hobby, you know.
Dope.
And it's like, fun fact, I went to like a party, like, you know, like a get together that I had some friends I haven't seen in years, you know, and they referred to Lava as like my little business, you know, instead of just being like your business, like, yo, how's your little studio business going?
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
And I was kind of like,
that's a backhanded
little studio business, you know. It's kind of like, but it goes to show you that people don't take it serious. They think because you're not a doctor, you're, you know, like, or you don't work at a desk or for a corporation that you're like, that your business is just like not important, you know. It's kind of, you know, and I had to like tell him like, you mean my business, not my little business. And he was like, oh, I apologize, I didn't mean it like that. But I feel like people don't even realize that they talk like that. They do it subconsciously. You know, they're not really trying to offend you, but it's just, they don't really believe, you know, they don't believe in what you're doing. So when you do find the people that do believe in you, I feel like it feels really good. You know? It's a good feeling. And, you know, even being with Jess now and dating her, I feel like it's the first time I've been in a relationship where I feel like supported in what I do, and not just like, oh yeah, that's what you do, like, yeah, like, have fun doing it. No, it's kind of like, yo, go kill it, like, do your thing, you know, kind of thing. And it's like, I feel like I have a support system now.
And not somebody who's like trying to like piggyback off of it either.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, that's a real support.
Yeah. Nah. Yeah. And I feel like because we're kind of like in the same realm of like we do kind of the same thing. There's like a mutual understanding of like how things run, you know. Being in prior relationships, it was always like, oh, you only do this because of what it comes with, you know,
right.
because oh, you get to be around women all day, or like just a lot of insecurities that were like thrown on me, and instead of like being supportive, it was kind of like oh, like basically telling me I'm doing this for the wrong reasons, you know, and it was like, no, I actually love doing this. So.
Good job, man. Tears are gone. Good job. All right, we can get back into this. All right, so from Love and Hip Hop, when did you end up in, because you said you stayed in Atlanta for like 6 months.
Yes, that was 2017.
Okay, so it was after working with Troy Ave.
Yes, so I started, so what happened was DJ Fast Life, who's a DJ, he's actually Shake the Block, he's part of Bobby Trends, it's like their Hot 97 group, and so we were really close at the time, and he DJ'd at a club that Troy Ave was hosting. So he had told him like, yo, if you ever need beats, like my boy, he makes beats, he's dope. So Troy had gave him his information, like, yeah, I'm looking for beats, you know, like send me some stuff. So I had sent them to DJ Fast Life, he sent them over to Troy Ave, and that's how that song happened. And I feel like everything happened perfectly because right when he was about to release that song is when that shooting happened. I don't know if you know too much about Troy Ave's story.
I don't, but I did hear you speaking on it in the podcast earlier, so. Yeah,
so in 2016, Troy Ave went to go show T.I. some love. He was performing in New York at Irving Plaza. Okay. And a shootout happened backstage. And Troy Ave got shot.
I remember that.
Yeah, they shot him backstage. And so it was like hip hop news. It was like there was a lot of like momentum on him because it was like the talk of the town. It was just the talk of hip hop. And so he ends up getting locked up, but his team put the song out. Okay. You know, using the momentum that he had for marketing, and they marketed the song. So the song ended up like, it was like the hottest song of the summer. It was like everywhere. So that also opened a lot of doors for me. You know, it opened a lot of doors because I had produced one of like the hottest records in New York City at the time. You know, I actually just found out like 2.5 weeks ago that the instrumental, the beat that I made for that song, is considered like top 100 hottest hip hop beats of all time.
Really?
Yeah, they put me in that category.
Wow.
So like, that's really dope. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's pretty dope. Yeah, and it's one of the most remixed beats. Like everybody's freestyled to it before.
Wow.
Yeah.
So all right, so you're working in Atlanta.
Yes. So that's the Troy Ave stuff, right? Then that opened other doors for me, and I had a friend. Actually, right before I was going to Atlanta, after the Troy Ave stuff happened, I went through like a really rough time in my life, and I was about to quit music.
Really?
I was gonna give up on music.
Oh, see, wow, I thought it was like the next step. Wow, this was
Yeah, this was like Atlanta. The trip to Atlanta is what changed everything for me and put me back on track.
Oh, good.
So after the Troy Ave stuff happened, there was just a lot going on, you know, like in my life, and also like I was also pursuing being an artist at the time. So I was producing and rapping, and so I was trying to find the balance, but I feel like at that time too I was still trying to find myself and like who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do. So when that happened, I you know, I just felt I fell into like a really like depressed like stage, and I wanted to quit. I didn't want to make music anymore. I felt like it wasn't for me. I felt like all the years and all the hard work that I had put into it, like I didn't feel like I wasn't seeing the benefits of like what I was doing, you know? So my boy calls me, who's actually my partner. We own Lava together. We have a production company together.
Is this Joselito?
Yes, this is Joselito. Well, so you know Joselito.
Yeah. Well, I don't know him,
you're doing your research.
I did my homework.
Yeah, so we actually still together. We've been working together since 2009. He's been with me the whole ride, you know. he called me. He told me that he had an opportunity for me in Atlanta to go work with DJ Mustard and YG, and then I should go down there. And I told him how I was feeling, and he was like, "You're crazy. What do you mean? Like, we put all this time into this. You can't give up now." And I was like, "Bro, I really don't want to do this anymore. I just don't, you know." And he was like, "Look," he's like, "do me a favor, do it for me. Go down to Atlanta." He's like, "Take the opportunity, see what happens, and if you don't like it, then, you know, like if you decide that you don't want to do this anymore, then cool.
Good.
But at least just go down there, fill it out, do it for me." So I was like, "All right, you know what? Like, this is gonna be my last time, you know, doing this."
At least you did it.
And I went to Atlanta, and I was one out of like a lot of producers that went down there, and I'm the only one that they kept.
Really?
Yeah, that was like the universe showing me, you know, that like, wow, I was meant to be there, you know, like they had producers coming into a room and kind of just showcasing their beats for the album, and like out of everybody that was there, they kept me, you know, they kept me around. I started working with DJ Mustard and YG on the album. It's called Stay Dangerous.
Yep, I have that right here.
And the album actually ended
Certified
up going
Gold.
Certified Gold
By RIAA.
Yes, so you know.
That's pretty, like, I'm sorry, how many? I know there's plenty of people like, but
that was
you
a great.
Get
That
to
was
say that. Man.
Yeah, that was a great accomplishment, and I feel like being down there with them and seeing. Like, they gave me a lot of love, you know. They made me feel real at home, and just creating music with them. When I came back home, I was like, yeah, nah, I can't quit. Like, it was like, you know, it was like a sign from the universe telling me like, nah, man, you're meant to do this. Like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. So, you know, I kept going, and I said, you know, that trip to Atlanta changed my life. It definitely, like, it made me look at life completely different, and it put me back on track. Like, no, I gotta go hard. Like, I got so much more to do, you know.
But before, when you said that, you know, you were thinking about becoming an artist yourself, you did put out a single.
I put out
a lot of singles, yeah.
I put out like 4 bodies of work, like albums.
But there's an interesting conversation that you said you had with Jay-Z. When Jay-Z's not in the building, she is Jay-Z.
Yeah, her name is Shaka.
Shaka, yes.
Yeah. So I had a friend named KB who worked at Def Jam at the time. And that was his mentor. So he set up a meeting with me and her at Rock Nation, and I came up. This was in 2014. Okay. So I go up there, I meet her, I play her a bunch of beats, and she gave me like some of the best advice that like anybody ever gave me. And she told me, "You're really talented. I can tell that you're like, you make fire beats and like you're really good at what you do." But she's like, "If I were to sign you today, I wouldn't know in what room to place you or what to do with you." And I didn't understand. I was like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "You just played me some R&B. You played me some house stuff you had. You played me some hip hop stuff you had. Your sound was like all over the place." And then they had just signed Mustard, DJ Mustard, who actually I ended up working up with a couple years later. And she was telling me, "You see how Mustard, like you hear his beats, they all have like the same vibe. You know, it works because all of his stuff sounds the same, has a similar vibe." And then she explained it to me like Jordans and Colgate. I'll never forget that expression. She was like, "You see, when you think about Colgate, they sell like mouth products, toothpaste. When you think about Jordans, it sells sneakers, they sell sportswear, you know?" She's like, you're not just an artist, you are a product, so you gotta treat yourself as that. So she's like, "If I were to ask you right now, what's your sound? As a producer, who are you?" She's like, "I feel like I know you're talented, but your sound is everywhere. Who are you as a producer?" And I said, "Damn." I said, "Okay." I was like, I sat with that for like 2 weeks before even touching my piano again. And I was like, okay, I got to figure that out so I can get back on track and figure out who I... And right after she gave me that knowledge is when things started happening for me. Like, that was 2014 and 2016. I get the Troy Ave thing. I get the opportunity with YG and Mustard. Like, things really started like flourishing with me, like for me after that conversation, because it was like she was right, you know? And I try to teach that to every artist that I like, you know, that I work with. I try to tell them, like, you have to have a sound. It's so important to have a lane.
Right.
You can't, like, being versatile makes no money.
Right, but you would think it's the opposite. You want to be able to be versatile in order to stay relevant.
That's great from a creative aspect, right? But not from a business aspect.
Right.
Like, if you want to market yourself, like this is what I always tell artists, right? This is like the perfect way to explain it. If I make a little bit of everything, right? But let's say I make like this one song that's like really dope and it's like a house record, right? But like majority of my music is R&B. And I put out this house record and it goes crazy, right? Now everybody that found me from that song, they became a fan of the sound of the song, you know? So they're expecting everything else of yours to sound like that. Then you drop another song and they're so excited, they're waiting for your next song and it's like completely different.
Yeah.
You just lost like half of the fans that you just gained. All of that work you put in on one song, you just lost half the audience. Maybe there might be a couple people that are also fans of R&B that'll stick around and listen to you, but majority of the people, they're gonna believe, they're gonna be like, this is not what I wanted from this artist, you know? And now you just lost that. So it's like, it's so important to like stick to a lane, you know? Like when you listen to Keisha Cole, you know you're getting heartbreak,
right?
You know?
Right.
If you listen to Future, you know you're getting like toxic club records,
right.
You know? Like you listen to certain artists
when I'm in a mood.
Yeah, because they give you a certain
I have my
emotion.
playlist.
That's what they sell you
right.
on. They sell you on that. So it's like, if you make a little bit of everything, what playlist are they supposed to put you on?
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
I got a question.
Yes.
For an artist or even a producer, how can you maintain that balance of staying consistent and not staying redundant? Because I feel if you mentioned that thing about just staying in one lane, it's it works out, but at the same time, there's going to be a possibility where it just sounds like it's more the same old, and there's like no growth.
Okay.
And here's an example of that. I know a lot of people are starting to get so just over, what the hell is her fucking name? She's the singer that everybody's just like, can she finally find a good boyfriend so she could stop making the same fucking angry music?
Just name one.
Janet Jackson.
No.
A singer?
So, yeah, she's a singer. She's the blonde.
Adele?
No. Oh my God, the
Summer
young.
Walker?
No, the young.
Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift, yeah. Oh. She like apparently is so in that same niche, in that same lane that everybody's just so sick of. Not me. I'm Taylor. I'm a fan. But everybody is like, God damn, woman. That's all you ever talk about is like how you're such an angry woman. You know what I mean?
Okay, I could see that. But then I can also see she just dropped a project a couple months back. Not even, maybe 2 months ago. Every song did like 5 million streams overnight. Is it really failing? You know what I'm saying? No, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, you can consider that. You know, like what's dope about music is that it's like everybody. You know, it's open ground. Everybody has their opinion, right? So it's like you might find it redundant, but somebody else is like, this is what I want to hear from Taylor. You know, her fan base is like, this is what I want, right? So I think to answer your question, right, where how you can stay like consistent, and I think that it's cool for an artist to change their sound once you have built that platform and you have that fan base. I don't think it's a bad thing to be versatile. I think that it's bad to be versatile when nobody knows you yet, right? Because you gotta be a player before you can coach, right? So it's like, I feel like you need to build that fan base. Like for example, somebody like Drake, he had to come in with a certain sound, right? And that's like, as he kept elevating, he started doing like Spanish records with like Bad Bunny. He's on like a bachata record with Romeo Santos, but like he already established his name to the point where like he can do that, and it's gonna win regardless because he's already, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. But coming in as a new act, you can't be all over the place. You don't have the platform to do it. You know what I'm saying? Somebody like Beyonce she could fart on the record if she wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like, it does, at this point, it doesn't matter what she does. They're gonna love it because she's already built that platform to do so. Yeah. So I feel like coming up, I think there's a time and place for everything. I feel like a lot of artists try to do that early on. Like, nobody knows them. They're trying to get on, and they just start making a little bit of everything, and it's like, nah, you shouldn't. Like, that's not gonna work for you. You kind of gotta build your fan base. Once you build that strong family, like, you know, because I don't even want to call them fans. I would say, like, once you build a family of people that just believe in you, buy all the stuff that you have, and you have like a strong fan base, then like, yeah, then you can, you know, you could do whatever you want at that point. They're gonna buy into anything because they're just a fan of you, not just the music. They're a fan of who you are, and I feel like that's, you know, that plays a big part in your music. I feel like a lot of artists make music because they feel like it's what's trending right now. Nobody really wants to make what they really are in love with. They wanna follow the trends and the wave. They don't want to make something that they're actually like what they would love, you know?
But don't you feel that a lot of that also comes from whatever the studio is saying they have to? Like, don't you ever feel like, you know, an artist's first album is always what the studio tells them, and then once it blows up, then it becomes their personal. I've always felt like that, you know what I mean?
I don't know, because sometimes when you go to the studio, if you're working with a producer, then you guys are figuring out the stuff together, right? But if not, what I deal with as a producer a lot, when I have clients come in here and work with me, majority of them come in here and they want something that sounds like somebody else's work. I get a lot of artists that come in here, yo, I want a beat like, have you heard that Drake song? Have you heard that Beyonce song?
Said that, yeah.
Have you heard that Chris Brown song? I want something like that. And I'm like, so you want to be Chris Brown or you want to be yourself?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to sound like somebody else, and it's great to like be inspired and take, you know, like
That
things that you
inspiration.
like from
Yeah.
people that inspire you, but like to have something that sounds exactly like somebody you listen to, it's just, there's already a Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? People don't need another Chris Brown. Like, there's already a Beyonce, there's already a Drake, there's already a Future. So like, sound different, be authentic. You know what I'm saying? Be yourself. And I think that I try to preach that as much as possible when I come in here and work with artists. I'm like, when they try to approach it that way, I'm like, okay, maybe we could take elements from those things, but let's try to create something that's more for you, you know, like something that's gonna, you know, I like to get to know the artist, so I want to know about their background, I want to know what they're into, what kind of music they listen to on a daily, because I've had artists come in here and make trap music, and then I'm like, what's your playlist? And they listen to rock music all day. And I'm like, so you listen to Green Day all day, but you want to come in here and make a Future type of song? Like, I'm confused. And they're like, yeah, because I don't really see myself as a rock artist. Why? Oh, because I don't look the part. Like, that's what's gonna make you different. You know what I'm saying? Like, if that's what you love to do, then do that. Because people are gonna become fans of you because it feels real. And people can always tell when something is not organic. You know what I'm saying? If you love it, people are gonna feel that through your music. And the people that are meant to have that are gonna have that music. People that don't like it, then it's not for them. You know what I'm saying? And that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. You know
You're
what I'm saying?
absolutely right, because when I used to do music back in the day, I was working with people that were trying to make people go like the 808s and Heartbreak Kanye, when the type of music I wanted to do is pretty much what Griselda is doing right now.
You feel me? And look at it, it's winning now, right? And who would have thought that music would be winning right now in 2023 in a climate of music when everything's like trappy and like, you know, they're making like real hip hop, bar-y music, and it's winning because like they found a lane, because whether it's mainstream or not, like they have a core following of people that love that music, and that's all they need, and they're winning with it. I feel like everybody wants to be Drake, everybody wants to be Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson. Like, you don't have to be this like huge, big act to be successful in music. You know what I'm saying? You don't. Like, you can just find the people you need. Post Malone. Post Malone is another one. You know what I'm saying?
He's his own genre.
He's his own genre. Like, but this is why he's so huge, because he's himself. He's unapologetic. He'll get on his knees on the floor and look mad crazy. He'll dance mad crazy on stage. He's just himself, and people love him because he's just real. Same thing with Cardi B. I feel like Cardi B is this big, not because she's like the most talented artist, but people love her because she's real. Exactly who she is on her music and how she talks is really who she is in real life. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is, like, she's herself, unapologetic. Like, she's gonna tell you, like, fuck you, I don't like you, bitch. You feel me? Like, and she's gonna put that in her music, and people love that because it's real.
The only thing that changed about her is a bank account.
That's it. You know what I'm saying? She's still the same girl from the Bronx. She's still that hood girl, you know what I'm saying, that comes from the streets, like, and she's never changed that. You know what I'm saying? And that's why people love her so much. That's why she's so big. That's why she's so huge. Because there's people out there that love the realness. You know what I'm saying? They're always gonna love the realness. That's always gonna win over like just trying to make like music that's trendy. That's what sets you apart.
Love it.
Yep.
So I think we've rounded out almost an hour. I think
Right
that's
to the T.
I think that's a perfect way to end it. How do you feel about this?
Yeah,
was
I loved
good?
it. This is a really good interview.
It made you cry.
I loved it.
Yeah, you made me.
I made
Is
you
my
cry.
makeup
Got
okay?
got
Is my makeup okay?
sentimental. Yeah, your makeup is good. Your makeup is good.
I was like, fuckers. God damn it. Damn fucking teacher.
Vietnam flashback.
Well, so I did want to ask one last thing.
Okay.
The last time you were on a podcast with Famine and Mellow, you had announced that you were opening a club in Passaic.
Yeah,
Guest
that's
list.
opened and it's closed.
I know, but I wanted to ask how that went because it did open.
It went very well. So we opened 2 spots. We had the guest list, and then we also had a strip club called Mr. B's.
Mr. B's.
And they were a couple like
Doors away from each
Nah,
other?
they were like a couple blocks away from each other,
Okay.
like a 5-minute drive. It was a great time.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a great time in my life. I had a lot of fun, good food. But COVID hit.
Yeah.
You know, COVID hit. It ruined everything. Like, you know, we
We're doing
couldn't.
better now, so when is the relaunch?
Yeah.
Nah, businesses are sold.
Because we hungry.
We're hungry.
Businesses are sold,
hungry.
but yeah, man, those were great times. Those were really good times.
Yeah, so I wanted to just a shout out to that. All right, so really quickly,
You
also.
been to Mr. B's?
Shh, that was more like my basement.
I dear Lord. He says proudly.
Yeah, no, I basically lived out of there.
Yeah, no. I used to be out of there quite a few times. Because I lived very close at the time. I used to live in Wallington, which is right next to
Oh yeah, that's right there.
Yeah, I could walk there. Well, no, I can't walk in there.
Yeah, but I was very close. Absolutely.
Well, I just want to give a shout out to Bern at Uniquely Coordinated because that's how I get to know you.
That's right.
So
Shout
I
out
just
to
wanted to
Bern.
make sure that we said
Love her. Love
Yes,
her.
yes.
Love her.
And
Amazing.
yeah, so thank you so much for giving us some time today in your studio.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It was a great conversation.
I can't wait to see this.
Yes, hopefully it'll be ready for tomorrow morning. Maybe.
Fire.
All right, everybody.
Yeah.
It's a brand new week, so go own it and mind your favorite minx and join us next time. See you, everybody.